Hello and welcome to Mike's Garage. If you've already subscribed to our YouTube channel, thank you very much. If you haven't, please do. And when you do, please tap on the notification bell so you'll be notified every time one of our new videos comes up. Tapping the little like button doesn't hurt either. We appreciate that. Okay, in our last video, I was working on this 97 Fatboy with my buddy Jim.
Hi, boys and girls, ladies and gents.
You got it. Anyway, and we're taking it apart, and I'm trying to show methods of disassembly. So we're disassembling an Evolution engine in the bike so that we can replace the entire top end. So we got as far as taking everything off that you can see is off. I mean, down to the exhaust pipes and a few other things. Now what I'd like to do is I want to remove the intake manifold. And removing the intake manifold is, well, it's a bit of a chore because you got to get in there and loosen those big Allen head cap screws. Now, what I generally do is this is a 1/4 inch Allen head wrench, and I take it and I cut it short so that it fits in here. Now, although I may act like one, I'm not exactly a gorilla, so I add a cheater bar. This is a piece of steel tubing. It's a thin wall, it's not real strong, but it adds a lot of length here. And I can just go right down here a little ways. That was really cheating because I loosened it a while ago. But that's what I'm doing, is loosening those bolts. Like I said, they're tight. Make sure they're loosening up nicely. In fact, I might even leave those two in place. I'm going to go to the other side and loosen them, the two on this side. Here, let me get on this side first so you can get the camera in there. Get that arm out of there. All we need to do is just crack it loose. Maybe we'll try up here. Nope, that's not going to work either. Well, let's see, we're in a bad position. That's the reason for using thin wall tubing. Let's see if that caught in there. Nope, didn't catch. Well, we're going to have to do it like this, I guess. Nope. It's not going to work. So I'm going to have to try something else. I have some other little gadgets here. Not what I need. So, gee. You know what I'm going to do?
She'll go.
I'm going to leave it, and when I remove that rocker box, then I'll get it, and it'll be easy. So sometimes you just have that kind of an issue. This one doesn't want to come out either. So, let's see here. There's that one. And I'm going to put new bolts in there when I replace this. Those have been in there a long time. So there's 3 of them loose. I'm going to leave those 3 loose. And when I get this rocker box off, it'll be a lot easier to deal with. So I think for now, I'm going to take the front rocker box off first, and we'll take this part apart. We might even, no, we're not going to pull the front head until I get that rear rocker box off. Not everything goes exactly as you'd like it to every time. This is kind of a neat tool I have. It's a flat plate with an Allen head wrench built into it. Now, on some Evolution motors, you really don't have room for tools, and this was actually made for doing Evo motors. You can see back here in the back, Harley finally put a hole through so you can get into that Allen head screw there. But I'm going to loosen this up right now, and we'll be ready to go in a minute. Something about the best laid plans of mice and men. So we're going to get this front one off first. There's both of those loose. And I'm going to go get the other side real quick. Here's another approach to it. And that would be a ball end Allen wrench. So once we get all four of these loose, there's three, and here's the fourth one. Jim, you want to come over and get this lid from that side? Just hang on a second here. I'm going to go ahead and pull these out of here. There you go. And carefully lift that out. Here's the screws. Jim, would you put that in that box over there marked front?
I sure will.
Maybe like put a rag in there or something. The reason he's doing that
This is the front, yeah.
is because the box isn't all that clean. And we're going to be reusing all of these parts. Now, in our last video, I backed off the push rods so that when we take these parts out, we're not going to warp them. Here, Jim, you want to take the center piece? Got that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we can take this stuff apart now, which I'm all for that. Let's see, can I get at that? Somebody took my short 7/16 socket. It's a little difficult to get in here. No, it fits. Okay. Now, in the Harley Davidson service manual, it tells you to loosen all these evenly. And the reason they do that, I'm going to have to get a short socket somewhere. Let's see. You know what? I'm sure I've got one. Let me get one out of here. I think I've got one in here. Got one. That's a 7/16. Okay. There we go. All I had was a deep. So we'll get in there for a short one, or with a short one. to get that out of there in no time at all. But the reason Harley Davidson tells you to loosen all this stuff evenly is so that you don't warp it. And the way they made this motor with non-adjustable push rods, it's really difficult to work with. Now, I remember when I put push rods in this motor for you.
Oh yeah, I was really nervous about it because you cut the old ones out with bolt cutters.
That's right.
Just not used to it, but having those adjustable ones in made such a difference over the years.
Oh yeah. Well, we did that because, as I recall, we put quite a cam in this thing.
Definitely woke it up.
Yeah. That one doesn't want to come out the easy way. If this piece here really gets in your way, this fuel tank mount, you can remove it. I try not to remove things I don't need to. Removing it to get it out of the way is a good idea. It's a fine thing to do. My friend Jim put horns in front of it. So if I wanted to remove it, I'd have to remove the horns first. And to tell you the truth, I'd rather not remove it. I'll just leave it right there. And I'll get this bolt out of here without any real difficulty.
She's almost out.
In fact, that bolt's about ready to come out.
Here she comes.
Yep, it's coming out. Now, I have another strange habit here. If I leave all the bolts in the rocker box, then I know exactly where they are. That sounds a little silly, but it sure makes it easier when you get ready to put everything back together again. Okay, now these are Allen head bolts in the corners here. And there are Harley Davidson torque specs for all of these bolts, which we will adhere to when we reinstall them all. Okay. Now that one's not going to work easy. So we'll get an Allen wrench in here. Is that tube over there, Jim?
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute, maybe I don't need it. No, I don't need it. Thank you. Thank you anyway. Thank you very much. Okay. This is another cut down Allen wrench for clearance. I could use one that's actually a little longer. And there it is. I think I'm going to get remarks from people like I better keep working on panheads. But I do like this Evo. It's a good running motorcycle.
It really is. It's been a real treat.
Well, ever since we built a stroker for it, you've been smiling. You haven't quit yet.
No, but it's time to show the big inch new bikes that they're not everything there is to
Okay, we know the real story now. Jim's been riding with the boys with the new bikes.
And I'm tired of getting over the Sierras and having to push this too hard.
Well, I built you a stroker because you're so damn big to start with.
Yeah, and then I dress it out like a bit like a lightweight bagger, and it is lightweight. It's
Well, comparatively speaking, yeah.
comparatively speaking,
Sure.
it does good.
Sure. I remember when I bought my shovel head brand new. It was the biggest thing I'd ever been on. It's like, what is this? And today's baggers are so much. They're big motorcycles. I mean, they're huge.
They're enormous.
I mean, a full dresser today weighs over 900 pounds. That's a big motorcycle. Of course, they put big engines in them too, so. Okay, now I'm going to loosen those two. And we should be able to lift this off. May have to take the bolts out to do that, I don't know. We'll see. You know, a soft tail frame is so different from a dresser frame. You know, you have so much more room in a dresser frame. Any of the rubber mounts give you more room because the motor's moving around. And it's one of those kind of deals.
Yeah, this is a little on the tight side underneath here.
Yeah.
Especially that rear cover.
Yeah, we're gonna
That's
do
crazy.
that pretty soon. Let's see. Yeah, they should all be loose. We'll see if it'll clear coming out of there or not. I think so. And it should be out right about now. Ha ha, I forgot one. I knew it. Right here. Forgot one bolt right here. And it should be out here in a second. And then this thing should come right off. And that should be cool. Okay. And there it is. Got it?
Yep.
Cool. Thank you, sir. And that is the front one, so be sure and put it in the front box.
It's going in the front box.
Now, I have a tendency to lay all this stuff out in a kind of an order. This is the front push rod. That is front exhaust. So if I put it on this side, that's exactly where it goes on the motorcycle.
Okay.
Okay? Now this is the front intake. If I put it on this side of the box, we know that it goes there. So that's it. I think I should be able now, with that stuff out of the way, maybe I can get that bolt out of the intake manifold. Let me see if I've got a, excuse me, Jim. Let me see if I got a tool for that. I may, and it may, and we may be able to get that out the easy way. Nope. It's not going in there that easy. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We'll take a long extension and we'll put it in there. And we'll just take that right out of there. In case anyone was wondering if I was going to get that out of there, the answer is yes. Now, a lot of people put this stuff together with anti-seize, and putting it together with anti-seize is guaranteeing yourself a leak. If there was ever anything you wanted to seize, it's the bolts in your intake manifold. The fact that I had to crack them loose, can you imagine if they came loose? When I put them in, they don't come loose. And if you put them in with anti-seize, they're liable to come loose. Now, we're going to put this one, we're going to put a different manifold on it on a different pair of heads. We're not even going to use this stuff. But normally, if I were removing the intake manifold, I would have left those two bolts in there. The two on that side, because if you look at the manifold, you see the flanges are slotted open. And that's the way you locate it when you mount it. Okay? And looking at this, this looks like it was sealing real well. If there was any kind of leak, I do believe it would have been the seal at the carburetor.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it was old. A lot of this stuff is old. I mean, we forget that time goes by, and we just don't think about it because it's running well. Everything is fine. But stuff still ages. Yeah, you don't need to put them back in there.
Okay.
These heads are going to go somewhere else. We don't know where else yet, but they're going somewhere else. Okay, so now we can actually pull this cylinder head off of there. And I think, well, let's see. I know what I want to do. Okay, we know there's no load on anything. Everything is relieved. The only thing that I question is the piston in the right place? Now, it's not real critical on this flat top piston. That piston is down in there quite a ways, so I don't need to worry about removing the cylinder head and scraping the top of the piston. When we get those new domed pistons in there, if you're pulling a cylinder head, you want to make sure that the piston is down. Okay? Now, would you hand me that ratchet with a socket on it I just had right there? Isn't it laying right there?
This guy?
Oh, yeah. No, there was one. I had a 1/2-inch socket on one. Where the heck did I put it? Oh, socket's on it right here. Sorry about that. Okay. And that.
Be long enough?
Okay, we're going to crack them loose nice and easy. I do them in a crisscross pattern. I try to be real kind to it. You want to be sure that the ratchet you're using fits in there. If you get a big bulky ratchet, it's not going to. And let's see, this one here. And there it is. Okay. Now, I probably ought to put something down on the bench so that I can put this on it, if you would. And we'll pull the cylinder head right off of here. All right. Squeak. Like I said, a little bit of dryness in there is okay. You don't want this stuff loosening up. We'll put them back together with a light coating of oil, but we'll explain that when we get to it. Okay, there's 2 of them. And there's only 4 that hold it on. So we'll have her off here momentarily. You can see how clean Jim keeps his bike. These are perfectly clean. And the ones on the inside that you can't reach are all crusty looking. Yeah, clean what you can reach. Okay. There's all four of them just about. I'm starting to get excited. This thing gets all the way apart. We'll be ready to put all that trippy new stuff in it.
Oh, man.
You want to remove that head? Now I'll get it. There we go. Wait a minute. You can have these.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you. And there is the cylinder head. And the cylinders are beautiful. The cross hatches from when we honed it.
Are it still there?
Well, the ones I put in it. Get the flashlight and have a look. Here.
Oh yeah, you can still see it.
It's beautiful. Nice.
Top of the pistons are nice and clean.
Yeah. Well, I'm really pleased.
Yeah, not bad for maybe.
Well, I think in our next video, what we're going to do is we're going to tack this rear rocker box, get the rear head off, get the cylinders off, and we'll be ready to start putting stuff together after that. So I think we're going to stop right now. I'm about ready for dinner.
Sounds
And
good.
so we will do that in our next video. So until then, see you out on the road.